Hey guys, it's Rady Rogers, back with the new What If, and this is the 500 sub special, since you guys hit it so fast. So today we're gonna be doing What If Asta was a troll hunter from Tales of Arcadia. And yeah, so like always, if you guys want to see the next part, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and turn notifications so you get notice of new videos. But before we begin, I'll have to explain some world building. Okay. Since the story of Troll Hunter is a trilogy and has 3 parts, stories of three Bular and wizards will also be included in this. And also, some events are going to have to be prolonged to like days or a week at least, since Troll Hunters has 3 seasons or 3 parts. Yep. So let's get started with the what if finally. We start this what if with 3 babies being left at a church. As a while later, a priest would open the door as he takes the babies in as he wonders where they came from. He takes a look at the tags on the babies. The first baby's tag said, "You know." The second, "Hiruto." I'm just putting him as a plot device. The third baby, who seemed a year older but didn't have a name tag, as the priest decided to name him Asta. As Asta was tracking every one of the priest's movements, as the priest found this weird as he tried to pick Asta up, but Asta kicked him in the face, sending him back a bit and giving him a nosebleed. As the priest thinks that they have a rowdy one, as he puts Asta down. But before he does, he sees a weird shaped stone and a book in his basket as he tries to pick it up. But to his surprise, the stone is heavy and he can't open the book. And when he puts the stone on the table, it just goes right through it, and from the noise, Juno and Hiruto start crying as he tries to calm Juno and Hiruto down. We skip 4 years as Juno and Hiruto are sent to the town hall to deliver a letter. And on the way, both of them are still met with a drunk guy as he still wants to take Juno's pendant. As Hiruto tries to stop him, but the man just pushes him away as he hit a barrel. But before anyone knew, the old man got hit by a small but strong fist, which sent him flying into a nearby wall. As we see Asta, who is pissed as hell right now, as he looks at him as he says, "Stay away from my little brothers," as he sees the drunk guy is knocked out. He comes down and goes to pick Hiruto up as he goes to Juno and asks him if he's okay, as Juno nods. But before they could leave, Asta hears the man say, "You should have just looked the other way, kid," as he shoots an icicle at Juno. Asta sees this as he thinks Juno's gonna get hurt, but I'm too far away to do anything. But still have to try. As Asta suddenly gets a boost in physical prowess as his right eye turns black, as his pupil turns yellow, as he rushes forward, blocking the icicle from piercing Juno. Asta thinks that the icicle pierced his skin, but when he looks, the ice just bounced off him. He looks at the drunk guy as he says, "Oh, this is gonna be fun," as he rushes towards the man as he gut punches him, saying, "Hurt them again, and it'll be your last breath," as Asta knocked the man out fully. Asta feels tired all of a sudden as he tells Juno and Hiruto to go home and he'll deliver the letter. As Juno and Hiruto look at each other as they're both pretty inspired by Asta's act of determination and defensive. As in this what if, Asta's personality is sort of defending his brothers, sort of he'll do anything to protect his brothers. And yeah, as Asta goes to deliver the letter while Juno and Hiruto go to the church to explain some things to the priest. After Asta delivered the letter, he arrives at the church as the priest asks Asta if he's okay. As Asta nods. The priest checks Asta for any injuries as he sees none. As he asks Asta if he actually got hit by the icicle, as Asta nods again. As there's a hole where the icicle hit. And yeah, that's how that will go. And Yuno and Hirto would tell Asta of like his, well, I'm gonna say rage state with his eye turning black and all. Yeah. The next day, Asta. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot one thing. They would still promise to become Wizard Kings together, and since Asta is a year older in this, he promised to become Magic Knights with them together. Yeah. It's the next day as Asta went to the Demon Skull Forest. As he thinks to himself that he would need to get stronger, and he would also want to gain access to that form he unlocked. As he says, according to Yuna and Hiruto, my eyes were black and yellow when I got raised by that icicle going to hit Yuna. I need to get stronger if I'm going to protect them. As he starts his training, this is like afternoon, and this is like the afternoon, and for some odd reason, Asta is more tired and calm in the day, but more energetic and like the Asta we know at night. We skipped 2 years as Asta would have been training like he did in canon. Well, at the afternoon, but he still tries to activate his rage state. And if you're wondering how old he is, he's 7 right now, as Juno and Hito are like 6. Like I said, 2 years. Asta would be a little more reserved and introverted, as the drunk guy would have spread the word of Asta attacking him like Asta attacked him first. Asta attacked him first, and the old guy was just trying to defend himself, so yeah, rumors. As some of the villagers would treat him badly, but Asta really doesn't mind, as he would read that book he had since he was a child. He likes to study in the morning, and train in the night. Yeah, sort of like that. As the book he has is written in some ancient language, but also there are some instructions on how to learn this language. As Asta would be pretty interested in this. He would try to learn it, as he would get closer and closer every day. And for the stone he has, it's weird as the priest would explain that he can barely pick it up, but Asta can pick it up just fine for some reason, as he would keep it with him as a good luck charm, as he would turn it into a necklace. And during this time, Sister Lily would come, but Asta wouldn't really be attracted to her since, like I said, introvert. Yeah. Okay, 2 years. 2 years. In the afternoon, it's noon as Asta is training in the forest, as he was fighting a magic bear. Asta would be in his rage state, as the need to fight and survive in this situation sort of activated it. And after a bit of fighting, the bear would throw Asta head first into a rock, as Asta hits the rock, and for some reason he begins to see images of some woman dying in front of him. Asta gets out of the rock as his head hurts. He thinks of what this could be, but for some reason, anytime he thinks about the image, his rage begins to rise up as cracks form around the right side of his eye, like in the thumbnail, as he charges towards the bear in a rage state, as he begins to fight the bear, attacking non-stop. After a while, he would take down the bear, well, kill it, as he would calm down after. Asta still wonders who that was or what it could be, but anytime he thinks about it, he starts to get angry and sometimes sad as he pushes the thought to the inner corners of his mind. Asta looks in a nearby puddle to see cracks are forming around his eye, and he's pretty confused, but decides to ignore it for now, since he's smarter, as he's bleeding a bit from his head. He looks at the bear as it's been killed to the point where he can skin it actually with his bare hands, as they're covered with blood. But he thinks that he needs to wash his hands, and also wash your hands, people. Okay, that's all I want to say. As Asta takes the meat and fur from the bear he killed to the church. As when he gets back to the church, they're surprised that Asta took down a bear. His sister Lily asks what happened to Asta's faces. Asta says, I don't really know. After the bear threw me to a rock, they started foaming. She says, the bear threw you to a rock? Yeah, is there anything wrong with it? As Sister Lily lectures him about picking fights with forest animals. As Asta says, well, he started it, as he points to the dead bear. The priest says, I'm surprised you even took one down, as he inspects the bear, as he inspects the meat. As he says, Asta, did you kill this with your bare hands? As Asta laughs nervously, as the priest just sighs. We skip a few days as Asta has gone into forester training and is somewhere around noon, as he's pretty lazy around this time of day. Asta is still magicless in this, so that's why he actually trains his body. We skip to noon as Asta is now more energized and he is fighting some of the magic boars around. After he's done fighting like 1 to 2 boars, he hears 2 kids screaming as Asta wonders who it could be since he's the only one around around this time, as he goes to where he hears the screaming. When he arrives, he sees two kids who seem to be about his age, one who seems to be younger, as they're running away from a fire boar. Asta wonders if he should help them since he's a bit more cautious in this. As he sees the boar about to ram into them, Asta runs in and kicks the boar in the face, sending it flying back. As the boar sees Asta as it runs away, since some of the forest animals are scared of him. As Asta says, that could have ended badly, as he lends a hand to the kids who are on the ground as he introduces himself as Asta. The kids take his hand as he helps them to stand up. The boy there says, thanks, my name's Leopold, and the girl next to me is my little sister. She says, hi, my name's Lynette, and I'm putting her as a plot device as well. And if you guys are smart, you'll already know what she is in here for. Yeah. As Leopold asks how Asta took down that boar, as Asta explains it to him by saying, I have a fight with them sometimes around now and then. It's sort of a thing. Keeps me strong, and also keeps them vigilant. Wait, them? Yeah, there are more. You're lucky that I was out so early in the day, as he begins to stretch. As Leopold asks, early? It's like noon. Depends on which time of the day I get out train. As all 3 of them begin to have a conversation. Asta asks the 2 of them why they're here in the forest, as Lunette says our oldest sister Mereoleona likes to take us for training sometimes, and we got separated from her on on the path to the middle of the forest. Oh, so then how did you startle the boar? They only attack if you attack it. As Lunette looks at Leopold, as Leopold laughs nervously. Asta offers them help as Leopold says, sure, as Asta begins to track Mereoleona by her scent, as his physical prowess senses are all heightened. After a while, Asta gets close as they come out of the bushes. As Asta sees a red-haired woman searching for something, as they're in the middle of the forest right now. As Asta asks Leopold and Lunette if that's their sister, as both of them nod. Mereoleona sees the three kids as she rushes over there as fast as the eye could see, as he suddenly appears in front of the D. As Leopold says in a scared and nervous tone, hey sis, as she says, don't sis me, where have you two been? As Leopold explains the story. So you two got lost and were almost killed by that boar, huh? And you were saved by this kid who comes to train out in this forest. This is why I asked you to train. As she begins to lecture about Leopold and Lunette, as Asta says he should go back. As he turns around, but before he does, Mereoleona grabs him by his shirt as she asks, and where do you think you're going? Asta says, to train, as he tries to get out of her grip. But she asks, shouldn't kids like you be at home around right now? It's almost the afternoon and training in this forest is dangerous. Asta says, this is usually the time when I get out to train, and also I'm more energetic at this moment. As he finally gets out of her grip. She's surprised that a kid could break her grip now. She was like lowering her guard since Asta is a kid, as he's panting. As he says, well, I best be off, as he walks back into the woods. But before he does, Mereoleona asks if there's any real competition in this wood, since whenever she comes around, there aren't any real monsters. Asta says, yeah, there's some fireboars and bears from I'm around. As Mereoleona asks Asta to take them there. Leopold and Lunette are pretty scared about this, as Leopold speaks up. As he says, it's almost the afternoon. Shouldn't we be going home? As Lunette backs him up by saying, yeah, and I'm not going in there. Asta said there are bears in there. As Mereoleona gives them the intimidation stare as they shut up immediately. As Mereoleona says, show me the way, as Asta guides them to the front side of the forest. And he says, well, we're here. As Mereoleona says, there's nothing here. That's what they want you to think, as he's in a fighting position, as a magic bear comes out and tries to attack Asta. As he says, good to see you too, bear, as he kicks the bear on the head, sending it down to the ground, as all three of them are shocked. As Leopold says, how did you... As Asta said, no, sorry. As I said, I'm stronger in the night, as he fights the bear. A while later, Mereoleona says, give me a try, as she one-shots the bear, instantly knocking it out. As Asta asks how she did that, she said a lot of training. As after the fight, she thanks Asta for showing her this place and also for saving her siblings, as Asta says there's no problem. Mereoleona asks Asta if there's more of these monsters, as Asta says, if the bear is here, then the weaker ones will be around too, as Asta shows her the way. to their deadness. Leopold and Luna just look at each other as they sigh. They try to stop Asta and Mereoleona from causing that much damage to the ecosystem. After they calm down, Asta asks if they visit this spot often, as Mereoleona says, yeah, sometimes. I take these two to train with me. As Asta asks if Mereoleona could train him, as she agrees, and she says that Asta could join Leo and Lunette here. And as Asta thanks her as he goes back to the church. Lunette and Leo Paul think that we won't have to do it alone, as silly. When Asta gets back to the church, Yuna and Hiruto ask Asta how his training went, as he would tell them about the Vermillion family, and that's their last name. Seriously, search in the Wikipedia, that's how it comes. And how he helped two of them, as Yuna and Hiruto are surprised, since from Asta's stories, no one would enter the forest except him, as they look at Asta like a respected big brother. And they would have figured out the day and night cycle thing for Asta. And yeah. And Asta would be the protective, as he's really protective of his family. And like I said, his personality would be sort of introverted and pretty quiet. Well, in the day. And in the night, just talkative and energetic. We skip. Wait, Asta is 7. So 8 years old. As Asta is now 15, with Yuno and Hirto being 14, as it's the day of the Asta's at Leopold's Grimoire ceremony. During the 8-year time skip, Asta would have been training with Mereoleona in the forest like every once 2 weeks, because Mereoleona is a magic knight after all. But every time she does train them, she trains them to the point of exhaustion. Asta survives, but Leopold and Luna just are completely knocked out. And because of Asta's superhuman physiology, it's easier for him. But all three of them would be stronger. As the time that they spend together would also bring them closer, like Leopold being Asta's best friend, and Luna sort of developing feelings for Asta. Why? It's because Asta would have always saved her when Mereoleona would sometimes put her up against a beast that was too powerful, and Leopold would tease her about her and Asta sometimes. So she would sort of develop a tsundere complex. Oh, and thank you, Insane Monster, for giving me a name for this OC. And yeah, he was the one who gave me the idea for Lunan. And if you didn't know, which no one does, I'm his thumbnail editor, along for a bunch of other whatever's. If you go to his Discord link, I'll leave a link down below. You'll see Ray D as a thumbnail creator. As Asta would have introduced Lunette and Leopold to Yuno and Hiruto, as they would get along, and during this time, Asta would have learned the ancient language in the book, as he read all of it, as it seemed to be a story of something about a battle on a bridge. A battle on a bridge, and it has different volumes, 1 through 47, as Asta would have read all of it, as he understands a bit about some ancient creatures and some stuff. And he would have also learned their ancient language. So Asta's pretty skeptical about this, but still, he likes to read it sometimes. It's the day and he and Leopold get his grimoire as they head to the Grimoire Tower. After they arrive and the ceremony begins, as everyone there starts to get a grimoire. Leopold still gets his fire magic grimoire, but like in canon, Asta doesn't get one, as everyone starts to laugh at him. But Asta isn't rowdy like in the original, since it's sort of new at this time. Suddenly, everyone starts to hear loud banging, as they wonder where the sound is coming from. As all of a sudden, a grimoire comes out of the tower wall, says, and stops right in front of Asta. Asta wonders if this is his grimoire as he grabs it, which sends out a burst of anti-magic. anti-magic as the grimoire suddenly opens, showing the hilt of a sword as Asta takes his anti-magic sword out. I was pretty surprised. He never thought it would be a weapon type grimoire. Since of his superhuman physiology, he would have thought it would be a enhancement grimoire or beast grimoire. As Leopold congratulates him on his new grimoire as he asks what magic he has. Asta says that he doesn't know and he's going to try and figure it out as Asta heads back to the church and Leopold heads back to the Crimson Lines. When Asta arrives at the church, Yuna and Hirto ask of what grimoire Asta had as he shows them the 5-leaf clover, which they're surprised about as Yuna asks if he's going to go to the Magic Knight's exam. As Asta says, nah, I think I'm gonna wait for you guys to get there. Don't you remember the promise we made, like, 8 years ago? No, sorry. Yeah, 8 years ago. As Hiruto nods. We skip one more year as Asta is almost 16, not his birthday yet. And during this time, Asta would have been spending more time with Lunette and sometimes Leopold because he is now a Magic Knight because he couldn't wait for him. As Asta and Lunette would be closer and Asta would have an easy bit of a crush on Lunette. Well, he doesn't really know if it's a crush because he never felt this way before. So he's just as dense as before, but 1% more aware. And Lunette would now have sort of warmed up to him and she's not as tsundere before. So 1% less tsundere. Get that sun scream on. It's the day that Yuno and Hiruto and Lunette get their grimoires as Asta would have stayed back at the church to take care of the kids as the priest and sister Lily had some errands to attend to. As Asta wishes all three of them good luck as they head to the Grimoire Tower. After they arrive, the ceremony would go like in canon with Yuno would still get a 4-leaf wind grimoire and Hilda would get a 4-leaf light grimoire. As everyone is jealous and surprised that 2 commoners of all people got 4-leaf grimoires. As Lunette would get a insert number here because I'm gonna let you guys decide if she gets a 4-leaf or a 3-leaf. She's even surprised that Yuno and Hirta got 4 leaves. She's pretty happy for them. She does respect commoners and also both of them are friends. Yeah, as she decides to head back to the Crimson Lions as she says her goodbyes to Yuno and Hirto. After she leaves, the 2 nobles would still confront Yuno and Hirto and would also get their butts handed to them by the 2 brothers. And the chain mage would still come out and capture Yuno. And Hirto would pretty much be the one to save Yuno. So the fight would pretty much go like in canon until the chain mage captures Hirto. As he says, figures you both would do have 4-leaf grimoires. Your magic level is through the roof. I'm surprised you're not even nobles. But, alas, I'll have to kill you anyway. I'll have to take your grimoires now. Adios. As he takes Yuno and Hiruto's grimoires, as he says, well, these grimoires won't sell themselves now, would they? As he turns around to see Asta, with a pissed face as he takes out his anti-magic sword. As the chain mage is pretty intimidated by this as he says, kid, get out of the way. As Asta says, and what if I don't? Then die. As he shoots a bunch of chains toward Asta, and Asta destroys it with his magic, and this fight would go more or less like in canon. As Asta would save Hiruto and Yuno, as Yuno would ask Asta why he was here. As Asta says, Sister Lillian and father wanted to check on you guys because you were late. As Hiruto says, yep, that explains it. They would have that moment with the fist bump and then promise it to be Magic Knights together and also become Wizard Kings. As a 6-month training arc would begin. Asta would still meet Frenzel, that mage from the Diamond Kingdom, as he would still learn swordsmanship from him. And after the training arc, they would meet up like in canon. The church would say goodbye as they send them off for the Magic Nest exam. And they would still have to walk since Asta can't really fly on a broom. Asta would bring the stone he had since he was a little kid as a good luck charm. And also bring the book he had with him since he sometimes get bored as they walk all the way to the capital. Sorry about that, guys. I had to take care of something. As where did I leave off? Yeah, they head to the capital, and like in Canada, it would take 3 days. After they get to the capital, they would still explore the place along with, no, sorry, along with Hirto exploring everything like Asta, while, while Asta is trying to keep him in place, while Yuno just is looking stoic. But this time, Hirito would be the one to eat the purple snake, and yeah, sorry. But this time, Hirito would be the one to eat the purple snake. And after they're done exploring, they head to the Colosseum. They would check into the exam, as a test that happened like in the original would occur, as it would go like in canon, as with all the anti-magic birds berating Asta, and it would go the same and in canon wait, sorry, and Nero would land on Hirito's head this time instead of Asta's. And the other tests would go like in canon, with Asta failing all of them except for the combat portion, as Sekei, or the haha guy as you know him, would still challenge Asta, and like in canon gets his ass handed to him, even more in this time line, with Asta making a crater out of his corpse. And Hirito would be fighting a fire mage, as the fight would and just like how it did with Yuno, and Yuno's test would also go the same as the tests end. The selection exams for Yuno would still go the same, with him picking the Golden Dawn. And for Hirito, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. Hirito was also the one who bumped into Yami, not Asta. And for Hirito, all of them also raised their hands. Hirito thinks of who he should pick as he look at all of the captains. As he picks the Black Bulls, everyone is shocked. Wanjin asks Hirito why the Black Bull, says Hirito says, don't know, it's almost like a gut feeling, as he smiles at Wanjin. Wanjin sighs as he says, I can't make you change your mind, can I? As Hirito nods. Very well then. Next, as Asta steps forward, and like in canon, no one picks their hand up. No one raises their hand up. As Asta still gives the speech he did in the original, but nobody picks their hand. Asta is sort of falling into a deep depression right now. As Asta hears something demonic. As he hears the voice say, "Oh, you don't need them. You have the. But before the voice could finish, the captains would say next as Asta says, I understand, as he goes to the entrance of the Colosseum. Now, you might be wondering, why didn't Asta join the Black Bulls? It's because this time Asta didn't bump into Yami, Hiruto did. And I'm making this what if so he doesn't join the Black Bulls. Because someone asked me in the comments to not make him join the Black Bulls all the time. So props to you, Aiden McFarland. The comments in the screen right now. And yes, I do listen to you guys. Yuno and Hirta come up to him after the selections and try to comfort him about it, but Asta tells him it's fine. As Hirto says, no, it's not fine. We all promised that we would be magic knights together. And why wouldn't they pick you? You're more powerful. You even have magic that cancels out ours. It's not fair, as Yuno agrees and says, and if you aren't a magic knight, then we won't be one either, as Asta says, no, I can't let you pass that opportunity. Don't wait for me to be one. I don't want to hold you back from achieving your dreams. As Asta has been pretty chill about this for some reason. Leopold comes up to Asta as he tries to also comfort Asta, as he tells Asta that he could maybe convince Flagolia to let him in the squad. Asta thinks, but it's not fair to the others who fail at it. All three of them try to get Asta to agree with them, as Asta looks at them and says, just please, if not least for you, then do it for me. They try to argue about it, but Asta just stops them and tells them, you'll only make it hard if you stay. Now go. Your squads need you, as Asta walks away. Leopold tries to follow him, but Yuno and Hirto stop him as they tell Leopold to let it go and respect Asta's wishes. With Asta, he's pretty sad that he can't be a magic knight, as it's all he was thinking about. As he crosses a giant bridge. As he crosses a giant bridge to go to the inn. He writes a letter to Yuno and Hirto as he thinks that he'll have to mail it to them after he gets back to the village. As he sort of starts to break down, but not that much. And after that breakdown, he falls asleep. While in his dreams, he sees a woman with similar white hair to his, with black horns and grey stone skin, with a similar scar to his. As he sees her and what seems to be a kid with black horns, white skin, white hair, holding him. He tries to reach out for the both of them, but the dream begins to fade away. As Asta keeps trying to reach out, but he wakes up with a cold sweat. So he wonders what that was. He sees that it's morning as he thinks that he should leave for Hajj village, as he starts to pack his things and leaves the capital. So he thinks, I wonder how Hiruto and Yuno are doing, as he starts to walk. It's been a day and a half as Asta is camping out in the forest. And if you watch the original, it took 3 days for Asta and Yuno to head the capital, as it's 6 a.m. As Asta is sleeping heavily after some hard training. But suddenly he is awoken by some shouting and sounds of what seems to be swords clashing. As Asta wonders what the noise could be, as he goes to check it out. He picks up his grimoire, his lucky charm, and the book he had as he walks into the deeper part of the woods. Asta keeps walking towards the clashing as he comes across what it seems to be two monsters battling. He sees what seems to be a horned figure in some type of bluish silver armor, fighting a two-horned monster with obsidian-like skin, which talks somehow. Asta thinks he might be dreaming as he pinches himself, but it's not a dream. He watches the monster fight with the obsidian-like skin monster saying, "Give me the amulet, Conjugor," and I will grant you a swift and painless death. Kanjigar says, in your dreams, Bular, as he clashes his sword with Bular's daggers. Asta watches the fight as he observes every one of their movements. As the fight with Kanjigar and Bular would go the same about like in canon. As Kanjigar is down. As Bular says, I have killed more troll hunters than you have hunted gum-gums in your entire life. It'll please father that another one of his enemies is in the collection. As Kanjigar says, do your worst. I already led you away from the humans. It's only a matter of time before the amulet chooses another champion. So be it. As he's about to strike Kanjigar like in canon, but this time Asta steps in as he blocks the daggers with his Demon Slayer sword. As Bular says, a human? As he jumps back. Asta says, no monster is gonna kill him on my watch. As he's in a fighting position. As Bular says, then prepare to suffer a painful and slow death as both of them clash their swords with one another. As an instinct asks Asta to activate his rage state. As Bular and Asta start to have a battle. Kanjigar watches from the sidelines, too weak to stand or help. After a sort of long, one-sided and bloody short battle, the sun starts to come up as Bular is distracted by the sunrise. He thinks that he needs to get the amulet and leave. Asta, who is bloody as heck right now, delivers one last blow to Bular while he's distracted, as he slashes Bular in the eye, giving him a scar as Bular shouts, how dare you, you insolent rat! But before he could say any more, he saw the almost risen sun, as he says to Asta, next time you and I meet, I will kill everyone you love. Then I will kill you with a slow and painful death. As he runs back into the woods. Asta shouts, coward! Asta turns back to Kanjigar, who is sitting beside a tree, as Asta limps towards him. Asta asks Kanjigar if he's okay, as Kanjigar tells him that he's not, and he suspects that he only has a few more minutes to live. As Asta apologizes for not stepping in earlier. Kanjigar says, don't apologize. We would have been screwed anyways, as he laughs. Asta asks Kanjigar what he is, as Kanjigar says, well, I suppose there's no harm in it. I am a troll, and not just any troll, I am the troll hunter. Troll hunter? Doesn't it sound like you're hurting yourself? Well, the name stands for bad trolls, gum-gums. Well, if you want to know about the troll hunter, that's a responsibility of the highest regard. I, the troll hunter, have a sacred obligation to protect the world of humans and trolls alike from gum-gums. Asta asks about gum-gums as Kanjigar says bad trolls. But I'm afraid I cannot. My time is almost up as the sunlight covers Kanjigar as he turns into stone. But before he does, he tells Asta, I hope someone like you is the next troll hunter, as he's fully turned to stone. Asta is flabbergasted as he checks for a heartbeat but doesn't find any pulse. As he thinks, well, I don't have much time either, as his vision starts to fade as he thinks, I hope both of them find that letter. As he sees the amulet, which suddenly is appeared in front of him. As he hears one thing before he faints, arise, troll hunter, and he faints fully. After he fainted, the anti-magic Grimoire comes up to the amulet, as a black-red energy surrounds the anti-magic Grimoire as it opens up, as the anti-magic sword comes out. as the energy field tries to put the sword in the amulet. It tries to do so as Conjugar's spirit, which had been in the amulet, which was still in the amulet, tries to stop this dark energy from coming in, as he sees Liebe, or Liebe. I'm just gonna call him Liebe because that's more memorable. As Conjugar asks why Liebe or a devil would be trying to put a sword in the amulet. As Liebe explains why, and I'm not gonna say what he tells Conjugar because that I'll tell you in like part 4 or something, and I'll explain later. After a while, Liebe explains his reason. Conjugar sees that the devil is not bad. He's just a misunderstood child who just wants to protect his baby brother. As Conjugar says, fine, I'll allow you to fuse your magic with the Grimoire, as long as it won't cancel the power of the amulet. As Liebe explains, you know that gem slot in the back, right? Yes, when I fuse my power with the amulet, it'll create an unremovable gem that will be there, that will stay there as long as its current troll hunter lives. But the Grimoire I inhabit will eventually disappear. As Conjugar says, I see, but should I tell him about you? As Liebe says, he needs to find that out himself. As Conjugar nods as he says, well, Liebe, keep each other safe. And also, beware of Fangorot. No, sorry. Beware of Fangorot, yeah, that's what he says. As Conjugar's soul leaves the amulet, going to the Sooth Scryer. As Liebe says, now, I'll have to wait till he wakes up. As Liebe waits. After a while, Asta is found by a 2-horned, 6-eyed troll, Blinky, and a big muscular troll, Arg, with 3 R's, as he is brought to Troll Market to be healed. And when he is in the Troll Market, like, the stands, they still question him, like, fleshbag, human, yeah, all those comments. After a day or so, Asta wakes up with a sharp pain around his body. Blinky, who was watching him, says, "Ah, Master Asta, you are awake." As Asta looks at Blinky as he screams, but stops immediately after he feels the pain. As Blinky says, "I would not advise you to move. You were quite badly beaten." Soon, Arg arrives. Arg comes in as he says, Arg heard screaming. As Asta asks them, "Where am I and what are you two? Are you two trolls?" As Blinky says, "Yes, I am a troll, but how did you know?" As Asta says, "A troll named Conjugar told me a basic description." As Blinky gasped and said, "You knew Conjugar the Courageous?" As Asta said, "We had a talk after Bular ran away. And after I gave Bular a nasty scar, and after he broke my everything." As Asta is in a full body cast. Asta explains the fight and their talk after the fight and what happened to Conjugar. As Blinky says, "I'm sorry that you had to see that." As Asta said, "It's fine." As he asks Blinky where his Grimoire is, as Blinky says, "Grimoire? We didn't see a Grimoire." As Blinky says, "Arg, my fellow compatriot, did you see a Grimoire?" As Arg says, "Couldn't find one. All Arg saw was book. All Arg saw was book, and a rotting book he couldn't lift." As Blinky says, "Did the book you couldn't lift have a Grimoire on it?" As Arg thinks and says, "Couldn't see, very rusty and dirty. Looked like it was going to turn into dust." As Blinky says, "Then that could have been a Grimoire, could it?" as Asta said. That's how my grimoire normally looks. I need to find one as he tries to stand up. Pinky says, I advise you to stay here for now. Once may reopen if you start to walk. As Asta hears a crack, as Asta says, I don't think I can move anymore. I think I'm stuck. As Arg helps him to get into position. As Pinky says, worry not. When it is night time, me and my compatriot will find your grimoire. As Asta thanks them. But he asks another question, as he asks Blinky, wait, did you guys find a weird looking stone? As Blinky says, yes, we found this in your pockets. Yeah, that's it. Marvelous. How did a human such as yourself acquire a base stone? I don't know what a base stone is, but that's something I had since I was a baby. And since I was brought to the church. As Blinky says, so you're an orphan? Yeah. So what's this base stone, as Blinky explains? Well, a base stone is something used by master enchanters and wizards to create a structure for them to live in. So, a moving house, you could say. And this seems to be a fancy one. It might be connected to you. As Asta asks with a confused look. Might be? Well, it's very uncommon for it to be connected to a human. As Blinky says, give me a moment, as he starts to tinker with it. As he flickers a switch it had, as the color of it changes from purple to red, as it goes straight to Asta as it hits his face, and Asta is knocked out by it. As Blinky says, oh, my bad. Bad move, Blinky. That was unexpected. Argue right here and protect him, and guard him. I'll go get Wendell. As Blinky goes to get Wendell. With Hiruto, he would be doing the baptism at this moment, with the physical portion being harder for him since he doesn't train his body, and with the combat portion, it would be Magna against him. And I'm not gonna explain the whole fight because this video is gonna be long enough. Just gonna say that he did light shields, then deflected it with a reflective surface. Yeah. We skip to the next day. No, sorry. While these two events are happening, we skip to the Colosseum, as the check-in people of the Magic Knights exam are assembling. As some goblins are assembling what seems to be a bridge of some sort, as two people or trolls are running the operation. Bular, who is one of the trolls running the operation, is talking to the person who is running the other side of the operation. He's talking to the person who is running the other side of the operation. Bular is frustrated as he says, how did the amulet get taken? As he punches the wall. Strickler, who is there at this moment, says, come down, you brute. You're going to alert everyone outside. Now tell me, was there anyone else there with Conjugar? As Bular thinks, that boy, he protected Conjugar until the sun came up, as he throws some rubble at a goblin. Well, Janus Soda didn't find anybody at the forest. We only found lots of bloodstains and a rotting grimoire we couldn't even lift. And Conjugar's shattered body. As Bular says, how did the boy escape? I broke him to the point of death. He couldn't even walk. You were a sloppy little prince. Shut up, you impure. as Strickler says, "You were the one who left first, and you let your guard down, which in turn got you injured and let the boy escape." As Bular doesn't say anything, as Strickler looks at Bular as he sighs and says, "Look, if you want to bring your father back, then hunt that boy down. I have a sneaky suspicion that he might be the next troll hunter." As Bular says, "A human is the troll hunter," as he laughs. "Well, we can't take any chances, can we?" as his eyes glow. "I'll be taking my leave now. Oh, and Omura, who is also there, hunt the boy down." As Bular says, "And where are you going?" To investigate if the boy had any family. And it seems like the Wizard King needs me." As with Bular and Nomura, uh, Bular asks Nomura to go and scope out the forest for any remains of him or any trails as Nomura goes. With Bular, he asks one of the goblins there to bring him a fetch, as they might need a new spy soon, as he grins. But this is where I'll be ending this part. And like always, if you guys want to see the next part, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to get notice of new videos. So yeah, bye.